Lights. We are at war, and not the one we were expecting. Groom range, 2100 hours. Survivors, 6. In just a few minutes, our enemy managed to destroy the primary Strategic Command Center. By 2130, Strategic Command itself ceased to exist. Our combined military forces have been routed. The comms have gone dark. The red phone will not be ringing. And that is why, as of now, I, Myron Falk, am assuming command of what's left of our nation's defenses. The Bureau was founded to coordinate resistance forces in the event of a complete and successful Soviet invasion. That mission remains the same, even if our enemy does not. We now face an opponent from beyond our world, whose identity is yet unknown. But make no mistake, this enemy has crippled us. They have technology decades beyond what we possess. We must make it our own. Their weapons will become our weapons, and when they do, we shall annihilate them. I give you new orders. Survive, adapt, win. Welcome to XCOM.
No, I can help them. Let me help them! Will.
Carter. Hey, Will, wake up.
What?
Jesus, Carter. How is it you look worse than before you went to sleep?
I'm fine. And you yelling for me to wake up doesn't help.
I wasn't the one yelling.
I haven't slept more than a couple hours in years.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't worry about it. Like I said, this is our office and our bunks. Maybe someday they'll get the barracks up and running.
No, I mean, I barely sleep at all.
Well, can't say I blame you. Not after the morning you had. Anyway, Falk's looking for you. Wants you in his office. ASAP, as always.
The old man say what he wanted with me?
Ha! Guess you don't know him all that well yet. The director doesn't tell anyone anything he doesn't think they need to know.
Well, I guess you can't really hold knocking off for a few against me, seeing as how we seem to be in our office and our quarters.
Yeah, I guess some parts of the emergency plan leave something to be desired. Ah well, it'll be just like college, right?
Yeah, except I stayed in Mrs. Hawthorne's boarding house back in Terre Haute. Had my own bathroom and everything.
Well, ain't you fancy?
Are you saying something about that radio?
Oh yeah. Cheap thing normally just pipes in the company elevator music, but it's been picking up some weird signal. Damned if I know what it is.
Don't we have more important issues to deal with?
Sure, that's why I haven't bothered with it. But if someone on the outside is able to broadcast through that jamming signal, well, it could be important.
Who would know more about this?
Check with Operator Chelsky. She's information officer for the Bureau. Keeps track of communications, arranges contacts, manages what the public hears. The whole deal.
I'd better go see what the old man wants.
See you later, Will.
Two. Message repeats. 250.
Better make a note of this and talk to one of the radio operators.
9.
You probably ought to run that by Operator Chelsky across the hall. Might be important.
2.
You the dispatcher?
A little more than that, Agent Carter. I'm Chief Information Officer with the Bureau.
Information officer? What does that mean?
I oversee the dispatchers, but in addition to that, I also manage our public communications and keep our profile low. And for now, my job is also keeping the public from knowing the scope of the threat.
Because rioting mobs of civilians are the last thing we need right now.
Exactly. You and your agents contain the enemy's attacks, and my operators will keep the public panic level in check.
I'll try not to distract you too much.
As long as you have a good reason. What do you need, sir?
Isn't the enemy jamming all communications?
Yes, most broadcasting equipment is facing heavy interference, cutting effective range down to less than 5% of normal.
Then how are you...
Our equipment is significantly more robust. We're still communicating at approximately 90% of effective range. The best of the best, you know.
What does the population know?
They're worried about the communications blackout, but our operatives in the major cities are keeping them in line.
Keeping them in line? You make it sound like they've declared martial law.
Nothing as heavy-handed as that, just a series of emergency preparedness tests. They'll be tense, but orderly.
Radio's been playing a strange broadcast. Any idea what it means?
I heard. It's probably an automated weather station nearby, but I suppose it might be instructions for picking up a weaker signal. A clever broadcaster could bypass the worst of the jamming that way.
It could be survivors. We could bring them in.
It's worth checking out. I'll have Operator Hughes run the radio while you give us the data.
First set the range to... Set the range to 500.
Now the direction?
Set the direction east.
And the frequency?
Set the frequency to 892 megahertz.
Checking ultra-high frequency.
I've taken enough of your time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir?
Thanks for the information.
Just doing my job.
Where are you headed with this?
Just running it over to the armory. Wasn't told about it.
Yes, sir?
Radio's been playing a strange broadcast. Any idea what it means?
I heard. It's probably an automated weather station nearby, but I suppose it might be instructions for picking up a weaker signal. A clever broadcaster could bypass the worst of the jamming that way.
It could be survivors. We could bring them in.
It's worth checking out. I'll have Operator Hughes run the radio while you give us the data.
First set the range to... Set the range to 250.
Now the direction?
Set the direction north.
And the frequency?
Set the frequency to 374 megahertz.
Checking medium frequency.
Try again. I know there's a message out there.
If you say so.
First set the range to... Set the range to 100.
Now the direction?
Set the direction south.
And the frequency?
Set the frequency to 155 kilohertz.
Checking low frequency.
Try again. I know there's a message out there.
If you say so.
First set the range to...